The one thing that affects our family is we're not seeing friends and families much. We're trying to stay isolated as much as we can, and that's partially just due to the fact that we have 3 young children. So without any protection for them, we obviously are very careful. So it's really cut into the children's social lives. They're not seeing their family, friends, cousins, stuff like that. So some of that developmental stages aren't happening the way they should be. We've actually pulled one child from school, so they're just not going to necessarily get that interaction. So that's really the big thing.
It was pretty tough on them at the very beginning because because of the restrictions, I guess, with COVID, they weren't allowed to come into the room to visit, and they had to just look at me through the glass and stuff. So, and then with some of them living so far away, they couldn't, travel very often to come and see me. So it was very difficult for them, yeah.
My family's been troopers. They're so good. We're a really close family to begin with. And my family life really, I've been fortunate that I've been able to spend time with them, whether I'm downstairs and they're upstairs. We would send mail back and forth to each other at the top of the stairs.
It rattled my family. It shocked everybody.
So my 14-year-old, she doesn't like anything to do with the hospital. She doesn't like anything to do with people being sick. So when I was in the hospital, she didn't like to FaceTime or anything like that. Even, if I would feel up to it one day, she wasn't into it because she doesn't like seeing, the needles and things like that, IV machine or anything like that. Just she gets a little bit stressed out with it. And so there wasn't much communication with her for 9 days when I was in the hospital. And I think she was staying at the house when the other 2 younger kids were at grandparents'. So, and my husband was at the hospital a lot. So he was just home at nighttime with her. So that was pretty like a pretty alone time for her.
My mom, she's witnessed firsthand how it can affect me. So she doesn't like going out too much. She's very, very, very scared of the virus still, even though she's fully vaccinated.
This summer, I was able to spend a lot of time with my son outdoors. Even though I wasn't participating in the activities, I was still able to enjoy them. So I believe that getting outside was a big component of keeping our family life healthy, and focusing on what you can do rather than what you can't do. So, I can sit on the step and have a cup of coffee and watch you play. I can't be in net and block the soccer shots, but I can be outside. So really, I've almost found that my family life has been enriched in a good way. There's definitely things I couldn't do, but I found that by focusing on the things that I could do, it kept things going well.
In the immediate house, myself and the 4-month-old seemed to got it the worst. He likely also had some form of long haul or some long-term symptoms. One of the issues was he ended up getting asthma quite early. Not frequent that you would get prescribed or diagnosed with asthma when you're a child of 4 months. So he was given medications for that. So it took about a year for us to see any improvements of that. So to me, the eating, those sorts of things, it's so hard to know, but you knew what he was like before. You knew at 4 months, he was a happy kid. He was eating very well. After that, it definitely changed. He was wheezing. He was having problems, getting around, or, just simple things moving. We'd put him in a bouncer, right? You'd put him in something like that. And he was just winded after. And once he was able to start crawling and walking, he was definitely affected.
And when I got back, I noticed she was a little bit weary because she was so scared. Like, what is going on? Like, why are you so sick, right? And then she was dealing with school. That was her last year of elementary school, actually. So she is, wanting to take part in that kind of stuff, but you could tell that her mood had really changed. And when I got home from the hospital, she started to take on a lot more than she should have to, and that she did have to. So she would, she would sometimes make a small supper for her and her sister. She would have to take care of the 2-year-old a lot. She'd end up, spending, trying to get that energy out of her so she wasn't running around the house or coming in my room. So she's taken on a lot, and it's been hard for her.
A lot of my relatives have gotten COVID as well. Some haven't made it. Some are still having lingering symptoms as well. Some relatives just thought it'd be a cold. Some still do.
The girlfriend had what seemed to be sort of just like maybe kind of a mild flu-like symptoms. So she did say it was the sickest she's ever been, but it went away. We ended up having to call grandma here for a couple of days to help assist with the children. So it affected her, but she ended up making a full recovery within, 2 weeks.
Any changes, like even my husband getting laid off and then having a new job, new hours, and then me like this, it's been a lot. It's been a lot for her. She was worried about her younger sister losing all of her hair. Like it's been a lot for the family.
I feel it's been dividing a lot of family lately. Some of them are dead set against the vaccine. Some of them are pro-vaccine. Some of them are still scared to get it. But I just tell them, be careful not to get the virus. You don't know what it's going to do to you. You've seen firsthand what it does to me, but it's your free choice to make your own decision. Just be responsible.
I know for my mother, she's dealing with almost verbatim the same same symptoms as I am. So we've definitely discussed a lot of these very obscure symptoms that continue to happen. And you kind of wonder, am I going crazy? You start to question yourself. But when you've got another close family member going through the same problems, you realize, okay, I'm not alone.